Hey, everybody. Jeremy Torisk here with plenty of coaches on my little podcast called The Slight Edge Advantage. This is the show where we talk about mindset, uh, attitude, overcoming adversity, and what separates you from the rest of the field. Could be, again, your mindset. It could be what you do every day. It could be your health. It could be your experiences, but something separates you. And oftentimes we see the people that we're chasing. We see the people that we have mentors, and we go, gosh, they're just too good. They're twice as good, 3 times as good as I am. You don't have to be twice as good to get where they are. It's those little things that they aren't doing that you could be instilling in your life that will get you right to their level and beyond if you keep doing these things with consistency. I'm going to play a little commercial here for the sponsors, and then we're going to do the intro and bring on today's guest. Be back in 2. Jeremy Torisk again, here to talk to you about driving your business forward. And one of the companies that we always go back to when speaking about examples of this is IBM, a company that just about went extinct until they got rid of everything that didn't focus on their core business initiative. Payroll is oftentimes one of those bugaboo elements of a business that takes up too much time, too much resources. Keeping up with compliance, keeping up with federal, state, local compliance taxes, keeping everything secure and safe and private. ADP is one of those companies that can do this for you and get you and your resources back to what makes you money. Have them handle your payroll processing in just a few clicks, taxes calculated and paid on your behalf, talking federal, state, and local compliance. They have tools and technologies that help you attract, engage, and retain the right people for the right positions to drive your business forward. Workforce management tools, compliance, always focusing on the changes in legislation to allow you to focus on growing your business. Even benefits, 401k and the like. ADP, all your HR payroll and compliance needs made easy. Click the link below. ADP knows if they get you as a client from this link, that you are a quality client, because that's who listens to these programs. I make a couple of shekels because they got appreciation for you, and it doesn't cost you a thing. So it is a win-win-win. ADP, all your HR, payroll, and compliance needs made easy. Click the link in the description and get focused on your core business initiative again. Today on the Slight Edge Advantage, we welcome the author of Thoughtfully Fit. She's a certified speaking professional who is highly sought after as a speaker and a coach. She's worked with more than 500 organizations in over 48 industries to create high-performing people and teams. She balances running her thriving business with raising her 2 energetic teenage daughters and competing in triathlons. Please welcome to the show, Darcy Louma. Hey now.
I love it.
My friend, Darcy Louma. Darcy Louma. Just don't call me Darcy late for dinner.
Never late for dinner.
So we want to talk about the things you do which separate you from your competition, how you help people, give you some shine. But I just first want to tell everyone that I am the treasurer of the Florida Speakers Association. And in July, we were up there in Orlando for the National Speakers Association event, their yearly event. And Darcy's segment was overflowed. If the fire marshal was there, already kicked every one of us out there, seating people on the floor, people overflowing in the hallways. I believe you were one of the biggest hits at NSA this year, and I think it was because of your content modeling presentation. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later, because that is a huge advantage, not just a slight advantage. I wanted to make sure everyone that watches this understands what that is and that they need it in their IP, in their wheelhouse. So let's just take a moment. I know I did the intro, but tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into what you're doing.
Yeah, thanks, Jeremy. So I spent the first 20 years of my life in politics and campaigns and working in government, and transitioned to launching my business full time, just celebrating my 10th year in business this year.
Oh, wait a
And
minute. That's a
I
big one. 10 years. Woo!
yeah, it's really
Congratulations.
great. Especially because most small business entrepreneurs, right, the percentages say that the majority
Huge.
fail after 2 years. So to still be here is phenomenal, and
Yeah,
to be
they fail in
loving.
1 year. They go broke the
Yes,
second year, and then they go get a
absolutely.
job.
That's it. So I'm not only to be here, but also to be doing what I love.
So,
And
let me about that 1 second there. Your first year and second years, how did you survive those first 2 to get to 10?
well, the first thing I did, even before I launched my business, is I did informational interviews with about 25 different people who I wanted to emulate. I'm like, you are an entrepreneur. How did
Mm,
you get here? What did you learn the
wow.
hard way? What do you wish you knew at the beginning, where I am, that you know now?
Give me 2 of those things. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, one piece of advice that was incredibly helpful was to get an anchor client. So
Oh,
have
yeah.
one client locked in that if you got nothing else, you can still pay your mortgage and still run your business.
I got that from Ray Leon too, and he calls it an anchor client. I don't call him that. I feel like an anchor just in theory drags you down and holds you from moving on. I call them freedom accounts because
Yeah,
then they
brilliant.
free you up to help other people. But that base is there. Maybe it takes up 25 or 30% of your time, but it covers 90% of your income or your expenses. And that frees you up instead of, that's just something, but I'm from South Florida where anchors are mean. We know exactly, it holds you in place. And really, so we call them freedom accounts, but
Yep. Whatever
touche,
you call it,
get
it's
one.
having a client that really is locked in and provides you that financial security so that you don't have to operate in a place of scarcity.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was
We have a
huge.
whole way about how to get your anchor account, how to get your freedom account. We have a whole course on that too. And as probably do you. I mean, I love that we're in the same industry and that we're of the mindset that when the pie isn't enough, let's make a bigger pie. So plenty to go around. But that's why we're friends and that's why we get along is that we think the same way about the same things and helping people.
Absolutely.
So then your career of coaching, how do you kind of find your voice and what really separates you then?
Well, I think the other second piece of advice that, I mean, there was tons of things I learned, but is just to really focus on your passion. That there's in my company, we always talk about there's 100 ways to train for an Ironman, meaning when
Oh,
I had a coach. I would go to her in our weekly call and say, okay, I was training with some people and they said I should be doing a double brick and that I should be doing track workouts and I should be swimming 2 miles by now. And finally, after a few months of this, she's like, Darcy, there are 100 ways to train for an Ironman. Don't listen to all those voices. We have a plan.
yeah,
Execute
yeah.
the plan and the strategy.
Is
And
it do you feel like it's working for you? Yeah,
yeah,
because
exactly.
there's
It
other
worked. Yep. And so to align my business with my passion, and for me, I've always loved the outdoors and fitness and been a triathlete. And so for me to develop this model and find my voice
Mhm,
to say, I'm not a fitness instructor. That's not what my business is around. We're about
right.
training leaders and teams for peak performance in the workplace. And so
Yes.
we developed you asked about finding my voice. We developed our brand and a model around thoughtfully fit, which is you need to train and practice for peak performance in the workplace. Just like if you want to be physically fit, you need to train and practice for peak performance in your
Yeah.
event.
And so I think, you kinda just landed on thoughtfully fit. I mean, the one does feed into the other. Your love of the triathlon and the marathons and the running, which I don't get, we the first to tell you, it fed into your business, and you kinda merged the fit and the thoughtfully with, the business and because business is all, thinking and acting and leading, but the fit, the way you mashed them up and came up with this, concept, and we could just go do a shout out here of the book, Thoughtfully Fit, and then we can get into the model content modeling in a minute, but this was the money, right? This was the big had to be the breakthrough.
It was. And it absolutely provided us a platform to be able to scale our business.
Yeah. And so when you started with that hook, did you build everything around that, or did you kind of have like a kind of the content and went, wow, let's come up with a name to fit this? Which came first?
Well, the name came first, and we didn't like it. We didn't want it because we knew it was capturing the essence, but we're like, nobody knows what thoughtfully fit is. So
Well,
we tested and tried a ton of other things, and we did focus groups, and we started to build out and do beta testing, and it kept coming back to thoughtfully fit resonates with people. So we're like,
yes.
okay, let's keep it, and then built it out from there.
Yeah, I like it. So that's funny that you say you didn't like it. So what did ChatGPT tell you to do when you put thoughtfully fit in ChatGPT back then?
That didn't exist back then.
Are you kidding me? You came up with this on your own without how do you work without ChatGPT? All right.
Right?
I tell you, people, they take these good things in life and they make it their only focus. They can't even operate without it. Like if something happens to your phone or something, man, you can't operate. You got to learn, there's other ways to communicate and think on your own.
Yeah, it's a great tool, and we developed
Yes,
this prior to that, and now we're using ChatGPT to just supplement, but certainly the
absolutely.
intellectual property was developed from a lot of hard work and conversations with clients and testing it in the marketplace.
Yes, I love that. Plenty of Coaches is the platform to find all kinds of experts who share the power of coaching and mentorship with others. Our platform brings together a diverse array of experts in every field imaginable, all committed to helping the members of POC in becoming 1% better each day. Our detailed search fields enables you to locate coaches who resonate with your goals and aspirations. That's not all. We take learning well beyond traditional boundaries. Our live streaming sessions feature experts who share their lessons and stories, providing our users with a daily dose of inspiration and knowledge and personal engagement. So, if you're looking to improve 1% better on anything in your life, please try plentyofcoaches.com. Perfect place to find the perfect coach. So let's get into a little bit. When did the content modeling idea come in? Or I mean, obviously that it existed, but when did you say, I need to kind of have my own IP, my own identification? And when people think of thoughtfully fit, they think of this.
Yeah. So I launched my business in January of 2013. And probably within a year after attending different NSA, National Speaker Association
Mhm.
events and professional conferences, that was where I was challenged to say, if you really want to be a thought leader and you want to grow $1 million business and scale
Yeah,
it, you have
yeah,
to have your own intellectual property. You can't just be replicating and saying, well, Stephen Covey says this and
yeah.
Jim Collins says that. Not that they're not amazing people to reference and to, ground your material in research, but you need to do your own research. So
Yes.
we started doing our own research based on the themes that we saw were showing up with our clients in our coaching sessions, both for individuals as well as teams. And we spent 2 years doing a deep dive
Wow.
to look at what are the top hurdles that get in the way of peak performance. And that's what then became the thoughtfully fit model. Well, look at you, beautiful. Those 6 hurdles align with those 6 practices of stillness, strength, endurance. And that really then, so we launched the model after 2 years of research. We
Hmm.
launched it in 2016.
So what I love about I know more about the backstory than anyone else listening, is that it didn't just look like this, right? You had so many iterations and so many mock-ups, and in fact, I think I remember you saying you didn't even like this either, this version at one point, and you're like, "Wow, but this makes sense." It really is the one that makes the most logic, and it works, and it's easy to see, it's easy on the eyes.
Yeah, there were a lot of versions of this prior to this, and I just none of them were quite right. And so I drew on a napkin, like, here's what I want, and then sent it to my designer, and they
Oh, wow.
created this, which just nailed it. It was like, yes, because every other version, it was like, oh, it's not quite right.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about how it works, just top to bottom, left to right, center out.
Yeah. So basically, there's 6 hurdles. 3 of them are internal, where we get in our own way. And then 3 are external, where we have challenges with other people. And all of Thoughtfully Fit is around peak performance in the workplace. And so stillness is about being able to quiet the mind. There's so much to do, people can't even think. And that these are all problems and hurdles that clients would bring into our coaching sessions. Strength is about being able to have the strength to consciously choose how you show up in any situation.
Mm.
Endurance is being able to overcome obstacles to get unstuck. Those mindset, those are internal, where our trash talkers get in the way of saying no, of being able to self-manage and say, gosh, I'm really upset, but I'm going to show up curious instead of angry, those sorts of things. And then the 3 that are external: flexibility, stretching to accept others as they are. Balance is about being able to achieve alignment in the relationship and find the win-win, to balance what do you want and need with what I want and need. And then agility is being able to respond thoughtfully when you're blindsided.
Wow.
And then the last piece is the core. And the core are 3 simple steps to pause, think, and act. So regardless of what challenge you have to have a tough conversation. Somebody just sent you an email that triggered you. Whatever it is, you always can go back to engaging your core. You pause and then think before you act.
Right. And we always say that means reading the email, walking away from that email, having somebody else read it, and make sure that, am I reading this right? Or when you write the email and you say, is my bias coming through, or is my anger showing? Should I only have 15 exclamation points, or is that too much?
Yeah, 100%. Because you get that email, the first thing that happens is you have some thoughts. Those thoughts are like, what an idiot. I can't believe he said, like, those thoughts. That's happens. That's our humanity. So instead of just reacting based on those initial thoughts and feelings, like I'm, pounding out and hitting reply, or worse, reply all. You pause in a moment, take a breath, and think, okay, what's angering me? How do I want to show up? Maybe it's who else could give me some perspective to see what is going on here, because I'm feeling really triggered in this moment. And then with that new awareness from taking time to think and ask yourself some questions, then you can act thoughtfully.
Yeah. And if you're a solopreneur, you just don't have anybody, just give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they don't mean it the way you're reading it. Maybe something that you just got cut off on the way home, and you're walking in a weird state, or maybe they did. And so what? Probably they're the client, right? Or there's somebody that's impacting your deal. Let it go, right? Give them a benefit of the doubt. Pick up the phone call and call them, right? The phone, and then say, hey, I'm reading this. I don't know. I just want to make sure I'm getting what you're trying to say, because, don't want to fire back something and waste both of our time with it, not answering what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Just as simple as that.
Yeah.
It's really funny. So you obviously did like the KISS, right? Keep it super simple, because these things, they're everywhere, but the way you put it together and the way it flows and the way that it reminds you, it's almost like, I forget what they call it, but like somebody does, like they touch their neck before they go to speak, like Randy Gage touches his neck, and then he's like, okay, I got to wait 3 seconds before I say something, and then I got to start with the first story, and he kind of snaps himself in. That's what your Thoughtfully Fit does. It gets you used to this pause, think, and act, and in these 6 states, internal, external, and kind of optimizes your best self, right? Every day and in every situation.
Absolutely. And the premise of Thoughtfully Fit, whether you're working as an individual, a leader, a manager, or whether you want to train your team and create a culture that's thoughtfully fit, is that you need to practice and train. You can't just automatically have the ability and the skills to be able to breathe and ask questions and not react when you're blindsided if you haven't trained yourself to do that. Any more than if your default, maybe your default is to overreact. Maybe someone else's default is to silently stew and to just ruminate and to just analyze, and they get analysis paralysis. You also need to train and practice to be able to say, okay, I'm good at pausing and thinking, but now I need to go and act and have that tough conversation.
Yeah.
You need to train and practice to make that easier. Just like if you're a football player or a golfer or a tennis player, you cannot be at peak performance without training.
Yep. And everyone's depending on that, right? Your clients are depending on it, your family, the people that work with you and for you. They're depending on you being that way all the time because there's only 365 days a year. We don't use time management here. We call it focus management because it's really comes down to everyone gets the same time, but not everyone focuses the same. And so taking advantage of every single day and every opportunity to converse with somebody in a way that is optimal and productive and with impact. I think that's really for us. I wear usually a key that has the word impact engraved on it because it just reminds me so much that the things that people see you do, you don't even realize you're impacting them, and that's positive or negative.
Mhm.
So having this thoughtfully fit content model. So how do people? What would you suggest if somebody has? I don't know. They work with burnout. Okay,
Mhm.
companies and they teach burnout. How do they go about creating a content model that's unique? Because everyone talks about burnout. Like, what's the first steps do you think they should take? I'm putting you on the spot here, but
Yeah. Do you mean, Jeremy, just so I'm clear on your question, how to use the thoughtfully fit model to
no,
deal with burnout?
no. If they want to create a content model for themselves, what would you suggest the first way? Like I have a number of people in my circle that talk about burnout, but they need a content model. What should they do? Just the first step to think about what would my content model look like?
Well, there's 100 ways to train for an Ironman. So I'll give you one way, one
Yes.
first step. It's the step that we used is we went and interviewed and had conversations with the people who are saying, okay, what's causing the burnout? What's
Yeah.
underneath
Yeah.
this? Where do you get stuck? What's hard about it? And really understand the pain point and the problem so that then you can build the model around the solution. And it may be
You're
that they say, I don't know how to say no. I can't set boundaries.
yes.
I don't have a good relationship with my boss, so I'm not clear what the expectations are, so I'm doing extra work. Like get a sense of what's underneath that.
Yes. Yeah. So I like it. So what I like to think what these things are is like you said, there's 100 ways to train, but which one is most suited for me and my style and teaching? And so that content model for you may have 5 things, 4 things, might be a triangle or an infinity sign or whatever it is. Somebody else right next to you is teaching the same thing, but they're better at teaching it in a different way, slightly 2 degrees off. But be true to what your strengths are and how you help solve that problem of X, Y, and Z. And that's really what your content model was. Look at these things. I mean, if you look at this and you say, I trained runners to do a triathlon. You need stillness, you need strength, endurance, flexibility. These are your inner core strengths, and then you can apply them to anything.
You bet.
And that's what I like about it. It's instantly yours. Everyone sees it who's in the industry and knows it. And as you do more and more of these things, people get the book, Thoughtfully Fit, and which is available on Amazon. And it's Darcy, Darcy Loma, Luoma. So go to Amazon, put Darcy Loma or Luoma, and you'll see Thoughtfully Fit. Grab the book, go to the website. I'm going to put the website here for the people who can see this. It is just Darcy, DarcyLuoma.com. And you'll see everything that we're showing for the people who are watching this on YouTube. But it's really big in our business. If you're a coach, if you're any teaching entity to have this content model.
100%. And that was a breakthrough for me when I realized being able to create your own intellectual property and then copyright it, trademark it.
So I think it's one
Um,
of the huge boxes that you can check off to say that Darcy is a thought leader. Without
thank
these things, you can't say that. You might be an expert, but now you've got another box checked off with this content model that it's a thought leader. And that's the apex of what we want to be. You
yeah.
know, people are following your original ideas and your original. So I thank you for coming. Time has flown.
Oh my gosh.
Uh, anything that you want to talk about, what's coming up, anything, it's Halloween 2023, these things live forever, but we get a couple thousand people that watch this in the next couple of days here. What's coming up for you? Anything that we missed? Because we like to keep these things short so people actually watch them.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I love it. Well, I'll just end by saying if somebody's curious about what is my biggest hurdle, right? This is the research thing. There's 6 hurdles. Then go to thoughtfullyfit.com. There's a quiz, 2 minutes free. It'll spit out
Mm.
your biggest hurdle, and then you'll get some emails that give you a
Oh, I
training
love it.
plan for how to deal with that hurdle and how to overcome it.
Good. I see it there on your tag there, thoughtfullyfit.com. And we thank you. We thank you for a lot of things, for being a friend, for being a mentor, for being somebody I can call, for supporting our chapter down here and supporting the NSA, and all you do for your community and your family.
Thank you so much. I love what you do, and thanks for having me on, Jeremy.
Absolutely. Let me go say goodbye to everyone out here in the Slight Edge Advantage universe. People like Darcy don't just come into your lives by accident. Take advantage of what you just heard, what you just saw. Reach out to Darcy. She can help you no matter where you are in your business, in your life. The things that she offers is heartfelt. It's organic, and she's lived it. And believe me, watch our first podcast on Go Procast. Just type in there Darcy Louma and Jeremy Torisk, and you'll see the first podcast really deep into her personal life and how she got to where she was. What a compelling story. Slight edge and got nothing on her. She's got full edge advantage, everything she touches. We thank you. We'll see you next time, and we'll talk soon. Thanks for supporting everyone that we show on this channel too.